A reckoning in Port Charles, secrets, sacrifice, and the silent war **** in the aftermath of Natalia Ramirez's mysterious death, the city of Port Charles simmers beneath a surface of grief and suspicion. At the center of the storm stands Sonny Corinthos, grappling not only with personal loss but a swelling tide of political vendettas, familial unrest, and a war that now threatens to engulf even those who once considered themselves safe. As lines blur between protection and control, allegiance and betrayal, the figures surrounding Sonny begin to reposition themselves, each driven by fractured loyalties and secrets too dangerous to remain hidden. Jason Morgan, ever the stoic enforcer, finds himself once again in the role of protector, this time not of mob territory, but of a mother and child fleeing from an impending storm. Sasha Gilmore Corbin, shaken by the dangerous trajectory of events and determined to preserve what innocence remains in her daughter's life, prepares to vanish with young Daisy. The decision doesn't come easily, especially for Michael Corinthos, who must now confront the reality that protecting his daughter might mean surrendering his role in her early life altogether. Despite his reluctance, Michael ultimately consents to Sasha's plan. But not before ensuring the one man he trusts beyond question, Jason, will serve as their shadow, protector, and guide into an uncertain future. Jason, understanding the cost of separation all too well, offers his silent solidarity. Arrangements are made. Daisy will be cared for in the shadows, while Michael remains in Port Charles, burdened by the emotional cost of choosing safety over presence. In the Courtemain boathouse, Michael's emotions unravel in front of Jason. The pain of watching his daughter leave, of knowing he will miss her first steps, her first words, leaves him raw. Jason listens without judgment, offering not comfort, but a reminder born of his own hard-won experience, that love sometimes means walking away, if doing so secures a future. Elsewhere, Curtis Ashford is blindsided by a confession from Kai Taylor, the man who revealed the details of Curtis's secret operation involving Jacinda to none other than Drew Kane. The betrayal ignites a fury within Curtis, who demands accountability. Kai accepts responsibility, but it's clear his explanation is owed not to Curtis, but to Trina Robinson, the one person who may never forgive him. Drew arrives just as the tension peaks. He is not interested in apologies, he wants results. Pressing Curtis for editorial support, Drew demands an article targeting Sonny, implicating him directly in Natalia's death. More than that, he wants the autopsy report released and Sonny's name tied to suspicion in bold print. Curtis initially resists, but as the gravity of the situation sinks in, and with Drew leveraging public interest, he makes the call. The headline goes live: "Did Sonny finish what the killer started?" While political fires are stoked in newsrooms, chaos brews in the sterile halls of General Hospital. Ezra Boyle, self-serving and ruthless, crashes into the emergency room with a reporter and a camera crew in tow. His target is Marco Rios, the grief-stricken brother of the late Natalia. Marco, overwhelmed by the confrontation and disgusted at the media circus being made of his sister's death, warns both Ezra and anyone listening that if this harassment continues, legal action will follow. Ezra doesn't stop there. He corners Laura Collins for a statement about Sonny's involvement in Natalia's death. But Laura, a veteran of 100 political storms, refuses to be dragged into speculation. Her silence, however, does little to ease the public pressure building around Sonny. Back at Sonny's estate, Carly Spencer urges him to back down from his increasingly volatile feud with Jen Sidwell. With the stakes rising and their family now exposed, she warns that continuing this war could cost them more than territory, it could cost lives. Carly's appeal is emotional, calculated, and from a place of profound fear. But Sonny, stubborn and protective as ever, refuses to concede, even as he quietly begins making contingency plans to shelter those he loves. Meanwhile, Sonny's nephew Gio finds himself tangled in conversations he should never have overheard. Listening in on Sidwell's cryptic discussion with Jordan Ashford, Gio learns that Natalia's death is being quietly reframed as a potential suicide, one allegedly driven by fear of what Sonny might have done. Rumors swirl about a private jet to Belize and missing files. The narrative is being weaponized. Unable to contain what he knows, Gio runs straight to Sonny, determined to warn him. But Sonny, aware of how quickly danger bleeds into the lives of the young and idealistic, urges his nephew to walk away. Tracy Quartermaine had already warned Gio to stay out of this war. Sonny echoes her sentiment, hoping to sever Joe's involvement before it becomes fatal. Across town, at a gallery hosting a photography exhibition, the drama plays out in subtler tones. Cody Bell, in an attempt to lighten the mood, or perhaps win favor, spills a drink on Elizabeth Baldwin, drawing ire from Rick Lansing, who watches the interaction with thinly veiled contempt. The tension escalates when Rick turns his attention to Ava Jerome, who he accuses of playing both sides of the room. But Ava, unbothered by Rick's judgment, seems more interested in Elizabeth's reaction than Cody's clumsy charm. Emma Scorpio Drake, meanwhile, operates under her own agenda. With Jocelyn Jacks by her side, she delves into research on Professor Henry Hank Dalton, hoping to uncover truths buried under academic credentials. Her motives aren't entirely clear, but her presence rattles Jocelyn, especially as Emma reveals she came not just for answers, but to see Vaughn, a mutual interest whose presence stirs old rivalries. At the edge of every scene, threads are tightening. Old resentments flare. Hidden alliances shift. Everyone is watching Sonny. Some out of loyalty, others out of fear, and a few because they want to see him fall. Drew Kane, in particular, sharpens his political blade with each passing hour, determined to expose Sonny's crimes in the public eye. But Sonny, ever the strategist, sees beyond the headlines. He knows Drew's ambition may compromise not only him but the very people Drew claims to protect. And then, in a moment of quiet intimacy, Sasha returns to the Quartermaine house with Daisy. She nurses her child in silence, absorbing the weight of her decision. The nursery glows with lamplight, warm, safe, but fleeting. Every night Daisy spends in her mother's arms is one step closer to goodbye. The plan is in motion. Jason is ready. They will disappear soon, into the silence of safety and secrecy. Yet as the night deepens in Port Charles, not a single soul rests easy. Jason, Sasha, and Daisy prepare to vanish. Curtis wrestles with the fallout of betrayal. Drew fans the flames of public suspicion. Ezra weaponizes the press. Gio stands at the crossroads. Carly prays her warning is heard. And Sonny? Sonny remains a man surrounded by ghosts, some he mourns, others he may have created. But all of them, willingly or not, are now actors in a play set in motion by Natalia's death. The truth, whatever it may be, is no longer the goal. It's a weapon, passed from hand to hand, until someone decides to strike. And when that happens, no one in Port Charles will emerge untouched. In this fractured moment, General Hospital isn't merely a place for healing, it's a war front. And the battle is far from over.